Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, and this time reviewing on something I wanted to do for a long time, and that's Spider-Man the Animated Series. Now, Spider-Man the new animated series was my first Marvel cartoon I ever watched as a kid, and got me interested in Spider-Man. Now, the premise of the show is about Peter Parker dealing with criminals, madmen, and other things, and also struggling with his relationships and people he cares about. Now, what's also interesting is that in the comics, the Kingpin is meant to be the big crime boss. He's meant to have a whole organized crime ring and meant to be the big bad. Now, the person who was working on Spider-Man the Animated Series wanted to use Kingpin as kind of like what he was originally meant to be, a Spider-Man villain, but due to him becoming a Daredevil villain, it caused more popularity. Now, certain characters did appear, some like Gwen Stacy or Multi-Man and such never appeared, and two important characters that never did show up was Electro and Sandman. This was due to the fact that, due to James Cameron working on his Spider-Man film, which would have had Leonardo DiCaprio as Spider-Man, or aka Peter Parker, this caused the people working on Spider-Man animated series not to include the two characters in. But due to James Cameron's failure for the film, Electro eventually did show up, but it was a different person. Now, also with Spider-Man the animated series, was certain characters were portrayed much differently. For example, John Jameson never had his cigars. Also, Betty Brant didn't appear. For example, Flash Thompson was still the high school bully. And also, Felicia Hardy didn't become Black Cat until later on in the series. In this one, she was a stuck-up snob and was one of Peter Parker's love interests. Now, what's also interesting as well about Spider-Man the Animated Series, we got certain animated debuts like Tombstone, Venom, and, for example, many other characters. And we even got stories like from the Black Suit, the Kid Who Collects Spider-Man, and many other classic stories. And what's also interesting is that some characters were portrayed differently. For example, Madam Web was portrayed as a cosmic entity. Also, Doc Ock used to knew Peter in science camp. Also, such as loads of things. And a lot of characters did appear. For example, the people who were working on X-Men, the animated series, did a crossover with Spider-Man when Peter Parker had a mutation problem. And all of the original voice cast from the X-Men animated series did appear in this, which shows that they wanted to do the cast again, and they got the wish. Now, during the Secret Wars event, only Storm was allowed to be used. This was due to her voice actress having a permit in both Canadian and American territories. What's also great about Spider-Man the Animated Series, this actually had Peter Parker on his own dealing with dangerous threats. I think this is what Ultimate Spider-Man got wrong, which shows Spectacular Spider-Man, Spider-Man the New Animated Series, and Spider-Man the Animated Series got right. It's meant to be a simple story about Peter Parker struggling with his relationships, and didn't really need a goofy sort of campy show. What's also great as well about Spider-Man the Animated Series, the show lasted for 65 episodes, but there are some downsides. For example, the Hobgoblin coming first, then the Green Goblin later. But everyone knows that the Green Goblin is supposed to be Spider-Man's main enemy. But the Hobgoblin is meant to be more of a bigger bad in this series. Now, also what's different is Norman Osborn was originally, in the comics, is meant to be cold, self-centered, inconsiderate, and meant to neglect Harry. Well, in Spider-Man the Animated Series, he's portrayed as a bit more of a redeemable character and shown to legitimately care about Harry and feels bad for him. Now, also, another controversial story that was adapted was the Clone Saga. For example, you had Ben Reilly from a parallel universe explaining about what happened to his Peter Parker, and Peter Parker jokingly saying, "This is starting to sound like a bad comic book plot," which is also meant to be an inside joke to how bad the original Clone Saga was. I really think Brian Michael Bendis did much better with Ultimate Spider-Man. Now, also with Spider-Man the Animated Series, the show was interesting because this had the Kingpin as a bigger crime boss and the main antagonist, and they meant to be these big story arcs. But unfortunately, things were also changed. For example, Mortius the Living Vampire was changed from a vampire character to a mutation. Carnage was changed from being a killer to mentally unstable and didn't kill anyone. And also what's interesting is that the episodes seem to serve as morals for Peter Parker and the other characters, like Randy Robinson trying to save his son from making the same mistake like his friend Tombstone did, and many other things. What's also good about Spider-Man the Animated Series, it actually showed that you could take something, focus it, and make it into a good series. Think what Spectacular Spider-Man would have been had Marvel and Disney made better deals. So what do I think of Spider-Man the Animated Series? A good series done right. I recommend this to anyone who hasn't watched this. I give this a thumbs up. So that's my review. So Comic Reviewer here, signing out.